What on earth are you doing?
Nothing.
All
Nothing.
the blinds were down and I was wondering what was going on in here. You're watching yourself?
No, I'm editing this video up, but I'm doing it on this projector that I've sent us. If you've got cracks like this, as big as this, it's Sunday video and I'm getting carried away this week. I love a gadget and I've got a cracking gadget for you. If you didn't see Friday's video, go and find out what I'm on about with this. This is going to help you through the winter. We've got another tip coming up. We're going to have a look at some caravans and I'm hopefully going to come calming down in a minute because I'm a bit excited. So as I say, I love a gadget, so we're going to go and have a look and see why I like a gadget. We've got another campsite. We're going to Windemere this week, so we're going to have a look, little look-see at by the Lake District, by Windemere, camping and caravanning club, I think it is, and it's not too bad. I think depending on your dates, you can get it from about £11 a night. I think I did a weekend in October, and it was about 60 quid for the Friday, the Saturday, coming back on the Sunday. So not horrendous, still a decent price, and that was with electric on a hard standing. So the Cabrera, so we had a sneak peek in this last week. This is 21,995. Nice good seats at the front.
I like these cushions. They remind me of like just being on a settee at home.
Yeah.
Comfy.
You lose in one sense and gain in another with the Baileys. A lot of because we've got the island bed at the back. So we've got that island bed where we can walk around at the back. But a lot of the island beds, when you've got that layout, you sort of lose the seating at the front. So because you've got your gas locker in the front, you lose a good foot of seating at the front, but because the Bailey don't put them in the front, we gain a foot. So you can actually use these quite comfortably as single beds, lie out in the day. So a nice little way to do it. We've got the big fridge freezer. It's the slim line, but it's the big one. And then we've got massive drawers. So good sized soft close drawers, and then a cupboard at the bottom. We've got our electric ring, and again they put the top, like sort of a worktop extension over the top of the hob.
Yeah, I like that. It makes it a lot more practical.
Yeah.
Just having breakfast or sandwiches.
A lot more usable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, do you cook in the caravan, or do you tend to cook outside, or do you just go down the pub and be lazy? We've got
workspace, isn't there, actually, in this one?
yeah, massive. Yeah, massive. So yeah, nice with that, and you've got your electric ring, obviously your centre washroom, so you've got your centre washroom with separate shower and toilet. But yeah, let us know in the comments. We're going to try in a couple of weeks' time to sort of what sort of meals should we be doing in the caravan. Something nice, quick, easy. We've tended in the past to sort of cook meals before we've gone, haven't we? But then sometimes it's just keeping them, and even if you put them in like little Tupperware boxes, yeah, well, and also because it's sort of, I think we did it's like a lasagna sort of a thing, wasn't it? A veggie sort of lasagna. We're not veggies, but we'd go veggie now and again. And we'd sort of put it into a box, and by the time we'd got there, I think it was my driving, to be fair, it was a bit of a mess, and it was like, oh, I was looking forward to that when we got here.
Heating up the microwave, and not always got 240, have you?
Yeah, but we normally try and take our big Bluetti power bank, don't we? So and that's why I like the Bluetti power bank, because a lot of the places that we tend to go, we don't have the electric, which is why it suits me, but they don't suit everyone, to be fair. So we've still got the burst. We've had a lot of interest in this, but not actually just got across the line with it. We've had a couple of people that have bought it, and then with finance and whatever, it's fell out of bed. So we might, the motorhome next door has sold, but we're always just a little bit slower here to sell the motorhomes than we are at Gailey, I think, because Gailey's been known for the motorhomes. But this is a cracker. It is over it's over 3.5 tonnes, so it's about 4 tonnes. So again, we have noticed a difference on motorhomes that are over 3.5 tonne. A lot of people, when you're sort of getting on a bit now, and it's the sort of license reverts back to 3.5 tonnes. So I think as you get older, your license can sort of revert back to the 3.5 tonnes. So that's what you've just got to be wary on, is that if you go for a bigger motorhome and then in a couple of years time you might have to downgrade back to a 3.5 tonne, and that's why I think a lot of places now are sort of going, oh well, yeah, we like the 3.5 tonnes, but the issue then is with a 3.5 tonne is you don't get the payload. It's normally a little bit smaller, and if it is bigger like this, you can't put a lot in there. So it's a funny one. But this is a cracker. You're actually going to do your licence, aren't you? To do the C1. So
try.
For us that we can take the licence, it's just an expensive game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this week's tip is tyres. Obviously we're coming now into the winter, and if you're gonna sort of go away in October maybe for the last time, a really good time, let's check our tyre pressures, because we've had quite a lot of difference in going hot, going cold. It's starting to get a little bit colder now, so we want to check our tyre pressures. We want to visibly look on our tyre. Have a look at that. Can you see the cracking?
Look at that crack. I can see a big crack on
yeah.
it. How old are they, these tyres?
I'll tell you in a second, and I'll tell you how to look for what age the tyre is as well. So if you've got cracks on this, or like this, it's time to start thinking about getting them changed. Really, you don't want to be travelling on a tyre that's got cracks as bad as this. So if you've got cracks like this, as big as this, realistically, if you're going to go and use the Caravan again this year, you do want to get them changed. If you're not really going to use the Caravan again this year, wait until next year, because all that you're going to do is lose 6 months of tyre life. And the way to then check when you have new tyres put on is this little box here. This one's got 1511. So these tyres are 2011. Is it 50?
Dyslexia
is it 51?
51?
Yeah, 5111. It happens sometimes. So 5111, so that was the end of 2011, the 51st
so they're only
week.
2 years old.
No, 2011, come on, who's dyslexic now?
Oh yeah.
11.
Oh gosh.
We're in 23.
I was thinking it was 30.
Yeah.
You're right, dyslexic now.
So
they're quite old, aren't
yeah,
they?
12 years old.
Well.
So yeah, they've done pretty well, to be honest with you. They've stood the test of time. But if you've got cracks like that, and if you're going to be using the Caravan, get them changed. If you're not really going to be using the Caravan and you've got very tiny little cracks, something that you're going to think of for next year. If you've got good tyres, over the winter, it doesn't hurt to over-inflate the tyres. So go up to the absolute maximum of what the tyre pressure says on the sidewall. So on this one, we've got a maximum of 65 psi. So we're going to over-inflate the tyre over the winter. We're going to leave it up at a higher pressure, because that then is going to take more pressure off all parts of the tyre and just give it a better chance over the winter. What we need to make sure that we then do is recheck the pressure before we use the Caravan. So we've then got to put the pressure back to the correct setting that it should be. That should either be in your handbook, or there's a website, Tyre Safe. So if you look on Google and you type in Tyre Safe Caravan tyre pressure, that should come up with a calculator where you put in the size of the tyres, the weight of the Caravan, how many axles that you've got, and it will tell you what pressure your tyres should actually be. What else have we got? We've got an update. So if you remember, a while back, I've put it popping up now if I remember, we had this that came in part exchange when we did the Chris check. It was stolen. And basically the police turned around to us and said, look, you've got to impound it, you've got to keep it there, which, yeah, it's great for you police saying that, but who's going to pay us now for keeping it here? So basically it's all been sorted. The insurance company eventually, I think after about 6 weeks, turned around and says, oh yeah, we're not interested in it anymore, we'll clear it off the system. So they're clearing it off of the system, so it's going off Chris register as stolen. Police will then release the Caravan, and now we'll be able to sell it again. So it is a spares or repairs. It's got a bit of damp. It's not bad though, to be fair. And the problem, it's a cracking little layout. 2995, so it's a cheap fixed bed, and everything seems solid. But there was a bit of damping, and the problem that we have is that it would probably cost us about £3 to put it through the workshops and do all the damp repairs. So when they're this sort of age, it's not really worth us doing. And then by the time you've gone through and like that blind there is needs replacing, so for us to sort of be able to retail it fully, we could end up spending £5 on it to get it through the workshops to a point that it's worth us, or in a point where we can sort of sell it and sell it properly, and it's just not worth it. We can't afford to put sort of £5 into a £5 caravan, because there's no, well, we can't sell it, can't do it. So we're better off sort of going, well, actually we'll sell it at 2995. It's as it is. You've got to fix all these little bits yourself. If there's a little bit of damp, you've got to fix it yourself. But looking, I can't, there's nothing obvious. Yeah, it's not, there was definitely some damp readings. No, it might have been on one of these windows or something, possibly. There's a little bit of a watermark, but that might have just been from the kitchen. So it just gives, yeah, a little bit rough on the outside. Just needs a little bit of TLC on the outside. But yeah, nothing overly horrendous. No,
I don't think.
No, I think there's possibly been a little bit of a leak on the window. It's like things like this that sort of tell the story. If you have a look at like the watermark there, so I'd say it's possibly had a little bit of a leak, and there's a little bit of a stain. So again, if you're going to look at a caravan privately, make sure.
And rusty screws that are on the windows and things.
Sometimes though, rusty screws isn't always.
Have left it open.
Yeah, or it's been condensation. So again, over the winter, when you're caravanning in the winter, you'll get a little bit more condensation. So what you can tend to do then is, if you're using the caravan, actually put your window onto the vent. So on the second setting of the window, and that then just lets the caravan breathe a little bit more. You've only really got to do it on one or two, do it one this side, one that side, and that'll just let the caravan breathe a little bit more and not condensate up. So
not drafty then on that setting.
A little bit, which is why I say do smaller windows if possible. But yeah, not a bad little van for somebody. Again, it gives somebody then the opportunity that's only got £3 and they're sort of been looking, and if they've been sort of £5-6 for something similar, put a little bit of sweat equity. So just, yeah. As I say, it just needs somebody to spend a little bit of time on it, but not a bad little van. So if you're going to go and buy privately, look out for signs of leaks. Check all the wall boarding. Go and get yourself a little damp meter. It's better than nothing. I think in our Amazon shop we do a damp meter. And again, if you're sort of going to check your caravan over the winter, something else again there, as the weather starts to get worse, is just looking, checking for leaks, look for signs of water ingress. Go in the caravan when it's a really bad windy wet day. Come inside the caravan and have a look. Make sure that you can't see any signs of any leaks or anything. Make sure you've got no signs of any leaks around the windows.
That's a massive window, isn't it?
It's huge. And then what you'll always tend to get, this one typically hasn't, is sometimes on your blinds or your fly screens you'll get little black dots where there's just condensation and just got a little bit of mould on. So next week we're going to have a look at how to do things like that, how to fix things like that, and how to clean things like that. So something that we never looked in on this before, I don't think, was the beds. So yeah, the sort of
clever, isn't it?
Beds can come up and down on this, so quite a funky design. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed our little tips. If you've not already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop us a comment, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place. This is the latest Accio 07 projector.
How do you think it's fair? She developed a sense of humour.